Here is a question nobody's asking. Is the World Cup getting better, or is FIFA slowly killing the greatest tournament on earth? Because in 2026, everything changes. 48 teams, 104 matches, 3 host nations. One massive gamble. And depending on who you ask, this is either the best decision football has ever made or the beginning of the end. Let me explain exactly what is happening and why it matters more than you think. For 84 years, the World Cup had 32 teams, 32 nations, 64 matches, one champion. It was clean. It was brutal. It was the most watched sporting event on the planet. Then FIFA decided that was not enough. In 2026, the World Cup expands to 48 teams for the very first time in history. That is 16 extra nations on the biggest stage in football. In theory, this sounds incredible. More countries, more cultures, more stories, more football. In practice, it is far more complicated than that. Here is where it gets interesting. With 48 teams, FIFA needed a completely new format. Gone are the classic groups of 4. Now you have 12 groups of 4 teams each. The top 2 from every group advance automatically, and then comes the part that confused everybody. The 8 best third-place teams also qualify for the round of 32. Yes, you can finish third in your group and still go through. This sounds simple. It is not. Because now teams can calculate exactly how many points they need to survive. A draw might be enough. A narrow defeat might be enough. And we all know what happens when 2 teams only need a draw. We have seen it before. We do not need to see it again. But here is the other side of this argument. Think about the nations who have never been to a World Cup. Countries where football is everything but the dream felt impossible. 48 teams means more African nations qualify, more Asian nations qualify, more from CONCACAF, more from everywhere. In 1990, Cameroon reached the quarterfinals and changed African football forever. In 2002, South Korea reached the semi-finals, and an entire continent fell in love with the game all over again. Those moments only happen when new nations get their chance. And with 48 teams, more nations get that chance than ever before. So here is the real question. Does expanding the World Cup dilute the quality, or does it spread the magic further than it has ever reached before? The honest answer is, nobody knows yet. 2026 is the experiment. 104 matches across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The biggest World Cup in history, and whether it destroys the tournament or saves it forever depends entirely on what happens on that pitch. One thing is certain, the world will be watching, and so will you. If you want more World Cup 2026 breakdowns like this one, subscribe right now, because we are just getting started.